Hey, hey, South Bay. I'm Jeff Pollard at solarpowerthepeople.org and Jeff Pollard 11 on Instagram. We have another great episode with another great guest. Who are you? What are you about?
My name is Debika Sen. I am the CEO, COO of a classic tours collection, and I do immersive luxury tours to different parts of the world.
Oh, wow. Okay. That sounds cool. How did you get into it? And can you tell me a few cool places you either recommended or even went to?
I basically got into it because I needed a job, and this was when I was in my late teens,
Love it.
and I started as a receptionist, and I slowly built myself up, and eventually I decided to start my own business, and that's how I came into travel.
Okay. Is it like most businesses where you just kind of build a clientele and they like you and you can like kind of grab them that way? Or is it like you start from scratch and you have to like, build from there? Because like I don't know how many people like repeat tours and stuff like that, or if it's, a one-off.
My clientele is usually word of mouth,
Okay.
and there are some repeat clients. But because recently my husband passed away,
Oh, I'm so
so
sorry.
my business is from scratch again. So
Okay.
I had to reinvent myself and repivot my business. So I decided to change the way I sell travel.
Okay. First off, I'm so sorry to hear about that.
Thank you.
What was the reinvention, if I may ask? What have you kind of changed? If you could talk about the before and after.
Before it was usually people traveling. We did brochure tours. We did the usual travel places that people wanted to go to. But since my husband's demise, and during the time when my husband was alive, we decided to go to a restaurant for a meal here in LA. And we were refused entry because of the color of our skin. And that kind of threw me off. And in a
Yeah.
way, it was a blessing in disguise. I didn't take it negatively because I feel every situation, there's something positive in it.
Yeah.
So I took it positively and I thought there's something I'm not doing correctly in my tours. And that is, I'm not educating people. I'm not showing them that when they travel, they have to leave their identity behind, their color, their language, their religion, their nationality. So when you're going to a different destination, you are a citizen of that country just temporarily, whether you're going for 10 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So when you come back, and since you've had an open mind when you traveled there, you have imbibed some of the positive points in that society, their traditions, their way of life, their culinary skills. So, and then what happens is that when you mix the two, you become, it's not a pure kind of a race that we're creating, but it's something that's mixed and it becomes even better than what it was before. So the migration, whether it's temporary or permanent, it's very, very important to understand that we each have a role in this community that we live in, which is the universe.
Yeah. No, I like that. And
Thank you.
I, you know, you brought up a really good point, and there's a stereotype with, Americans that we become a little too, we bring our values to the other country, and I've seen a little bit of that, but I do have to say in our defense, every country's got their issues. But my
Yes.
main thing that I want to say is yes, when you travel, you are not Joe Schmo, the American guy. You are being the respectful, I'm in another country. They definitely have different values than you have. And you just kind of have to be mindful of that. And it's amazing how many people actually do travel and think they can bring all of their stuff over. And it's just, are you conquering? No, you're visiting.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
you're not trying to do anything like that. Um, but yeah, so that's crazy. How can people find you?
Uh, I
What are the
have,
steps that they need? Sorry to interrupt, but what are the
no,
steps also?
the steps are if they type in my name or my company's name, I will pop up on the internet. Right now, I don't have a website because everything, as I mentioned, has to be restructured. So my website is under construction at this time. But they could find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and on Instagram.
And please just voice out where those handles are. What is it?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember the names.
Well, one of
Really
them is
bad.
Classic Tour Collections. That's how you can find her
Yeah,
on Instagram. And then, just Debika Sen. Did I say that all
yes,
correctly? So you
yes.
can find her that way. And then I'm sure if you just put in some keywords like traveling and all that. Is there any kind of quick story, little fun thing where maybe, about your travels or helping somebody book, or maybe somebody relayed something to you afterward?
I had put a trip together and it was a women's tour. And I had participated in the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. And it was a program where you get chosen out of thousands of people that they interviewed. And I was very fortunate to be part of that program. And what they taught me is your business is not you. You are the business. So what are you putting into your business? So they asked us to pick something from our business and talk to and do our research and see within the same business realm, what is it that people are doing and what could you do the same thing but differently? And I decided to do women's tours. And being Indian, I decided to put a tour together for India. And when we talk about women's feminism here in America, we really go hard on it. We can make our own money, we can open the doors. But then when you go to a country like India, you have to understand there is tradition, there are social values, there are social stigmas that women have to work around in a very creative way to facilitate what they want and how they're going to get it. So what I did with my group is the different areas of Southern India, because in Southern India, women are more advanced. They don't cover their heads. All women are educated, as well as men. A girl child is just as celebrated as a boy child. So it's an sort of equal and yet not an equal society, depends on when you really delve into it. And what happened was I took them to a unique temple in southern India. And I wanted to show them that at this temple, there were a ton of women who had gone there and praying for a child. These were all educated women, doctors, they were lawyers. And some of them came back because they had twins or they had a child, they were blessed with a child. And then the child would be weighed, and based on the weight of the child, gifts would be given to the gods. That is gold, food, whatever they wanted to give. But it's to show people what it means to be a woman in different societies. My thought of being a woman, today I'm a widow, I'm single, I don't have children, but that doesn't make me less of a woman. But just because another woman feels that she has to have a child to discern that she is a woman, you can't discount that. You have to
Yeah.
be open. There are different variations. And that trip, a lot of the women who came back have talked about it, and they said it was very interesting.
Oh, good. That's very beautiful. Thank you for
There was a
sharing that. You know, yeah.
There's another aspect of the trip, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, was right the day before I left on my trip, I saw a program on India where there was a transformation, a man who wanted to become a woman, and it was
Okay.
talking about the stigma of society. So I found a nonprofit organization and we visited that place. So we had three people there. One was a young man who was talking about becoming a woman,
Hmm.
another man who was transitioning into a woman, and another one who was already a woman. So they all talked not only about their experiences, but also about the social stigma that they face in
Yeah.
all of this.
Oh, yeah.
So my whole question is, what is a woman? Are you a woman because you're born a woman? Or are you a woman also when you go through that transformation?
Sure. Sure. No, it goes back to, in some ways the soul,
Yes,
is the soul our body or is it something more, so I appreciate that. And that's crazy.
it
Um,
is.
no, thank you so much.
You're
If
welcome.
thank you for having this chat. If any of you want to travel and don't want the headache of planning it, this lady can help you. I'm gonna have to, call you up one time because I visited North India and not South India, so I'd love to visit more of the country. But thank you. So I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Hey, everybody, I have some exciting news. I wrote another kid's book, Uncle Duncle. I drew the pictures, I wrote the story. Please support, I'd really appreciate it. I also wrote The Giraffe and the Lion. That's another one, so collect them all if you have kids or if you don't. It's just a fun read. Really appreciate it. Take care, everybody.